My name is Olivia Harper, and my life took a turn no one could have imagined. The man who once swore we'd build a future together was the same one who coldly said, "This baby is a distraction. End it tomorrow." And then, 5 years later, he stood in front of me, his eyes locked on my daughter, as if he were staring at his own reflection from the past. Before I share my full story, tell me where you're watching from in the comments. Hit like and subscribe if you've ever faced or overcome heartbreak. Trust me, you'll want to hear what happened next. The pregnancy test shook in my hands like a leaf in autumn wind. 2 pink lines stared back at me from the tiny window, as certain as the Manhattan skyline outside our apartment. Nathan was in the kitchen, humming while he made coffee, that expensive Ethiopian blend he loved, the sound of normalcy when everything had just changed. "Nathan!" My voice came out smaller than intended. He appeared in the doorway, still in his Stanford t-shirt, hair messy from sleep. God, I loved him like that. Unguarded before the world demanded he become the tech genius everyone expected. His startup had just secured Series B funding. Investors were circling like hawks. I held up the test. His humming stopped. "Is that?" He didn't finish. Didn't need to. His face went through a slideshow of emotions. Surprise, fear, then something else. Calculation. "I'm pregnant." He crossed the room in 3 strides, took the test from my hand, studied it like code he needed to debug. Then he set it carefully on the coffee table as if it might explode. "Okay," he said slowly. "Okay, we can handle this." For 3 days we orbited each other like careful planets. He brought me ginger tea for morning sickness, rubbed my feet, whispered about baby names. I let myself dream. A brownstone in Brooklyn, toy-scattered floors, Nathan teaching our child to code before they could write. Then came Thursday, the IPO announcement. He came home different that night, suit sharp, jaw set, eyes already somewhere else. He poured himself whiskey, neat, no ice, and didn't offer me my usual wine before remembering. "Olivia, we need to talk." Those 4 words, every woman knows them. They sat between us like a loaded gun. "The timing," he started, stopped, started again. "The IPO changes everything. The board, the investors. I can't have any distractions, not now." Distractions? The word tasted like ash. "Our baby is a distraction?" He set down his glass, precise and deliberate. When he looked at me, I saw a stranger wearing my boyfriend's face. "End it. Tomorrow. I'll pay for everything. The best clinic." "Stop." My hand went to my stomach, protective already. "Just stop. Be practical, Liv. You're in law school. I'm about to run a public company. This isn't the right time." "When is the right time, Nathan? After your second billion?" He stood, adjusted his cuffs, a nervous tell I'd found endearing once. "I'm trying to be responsible here." "Responsible?" I laughed, sharp and bitter. "You mean convenient?" "I mean realistic. Make the appointment, Olivia. This discussion is over." That's when I knew. 3 years, countless promises, shared dreams, all of it meant less than stock options and board meetings. I stood too, my legs surprisingly steady. No. One word. It changed everything. The Greyhound bus to Ohio smelled like old vinyl and other people's stories. I pressed my face against the window, watching New York shrink until it was just light pollution on the horizon. 22 years old, 14 weeks pregnant, and running to nowhere with $1,847 in my checking account. Nathan had blocked my number before I'd even finished packing. Our mutual friends suddenly had crazy busy schedules. His mother called once. I let it go to voicemail, deleted it unheard. Clean breaks hurt less, or so I told myself at 3 a.m. when the baby fluttered for the first time. Zanesville, Ohio became home by default. Cheap rent, no questions asked, and far enough from anyone who knew the Olivia Harper who was supposed to clerk for a federal judge next summer. That girl was gone. This one stocked shelves at Walmart, always volunteering for overtime. The first ultrasound revealed twins. The technician's cheerful 2 heartbeats sent me into the bathroom, where I sat on the closed toilet and laughed until I cried. Or maybe the reverse. 2 babies, of course. The universe had a sense of humor. I named them during a thunderstorm. Ethan for strength, Sophia for wisdom. Things I'd need to teach them alone. Labor started during the dinner shift at Mel's diner. I'd been wiping down tables, ignoring the backache that had plagued me all day. Then my water broke, dramatic and undeniable, right by booth 6. Mel drove me to the hospital in his pickup, chain-smoking and muttering prayers. 23 hours later, they were here. Ethan first, screaming and perfect. Sophia followed, quiet but alert, her eyes, Nathan's eyes, taking in the world. The nurse asked if anyone should be called. "No," I whispered, holding my babies while rain lashed the windows. "We're complete." Those first months blurred together. Crying, theirs and mine, feeding schedules military in precision, diaper changes at ungodly hours. I developed a system, Ethan on the left, always hungrier, Sophia on the right, content to wait. My body became a machine, fuel in, milk out, function over form. Money was a constant shadow. Formula when my milk dried up from stress, $50 a week. Diapers, $80. Rent, utilities, the minimum payment on credit cards I'd sworn never to use. I cleaned offices at night while Mrs. Chen from downstairs watched the twins for $20 and leftover dinners. One night, delirious from exhaustion, I found myself in the cereal aisle at 2 a.m., Sophia strapped to my chest, Ethan in the cart. An elderly woman smiled at us. "Your husband must be so helpful," she said warmly. I smiled back, too tired to correct her, wondering what Nathan was doing at that exact moment. Probably sleeping in Egyptian cotton sheets, unaware his children existed in a world of generic diapers and expired coupons. Success has a way of finding you, even in small towns. Nathan's face appeared on my phone screen while I waited for the twins' vaccine appointment. Tech wunderkind Nathan Cole takes Coletech public at record valuation. I stared at the photo, professional headshot, confident smile, no trace of the man who'd made love to me in our tiny Brooklyn apartment. The article gushed about his vision, his revolutionary platform, the $2.3 billion IPO, youngest tech CEO to ring the NYSE bell. "Mama, phone!" Ethan grabbed for it, always grabbing. I locked the screen, tucked it away. But Nathan was everywhere after that. Times cover, Forbes' 30 under 30. Business Insider couldn't get enough of his meteoric rise. Cable news loved him, young, handsome, articulate, the American dream personified, they said. I learned to look away. In grocery stores, I'd turn magazines backward, change channels when his interviews came on. But Ohio wasn't far enough. His ghost lived in my children's faces. Ethan's determined jaw, Sophia's analytical gaze. The twins turned 4. I'd managed to save enough for a 2-bedroom apartment, real beds instead of cribs. My night cleaning had turned into day supervision, then office manager. Small victories that felt enormous in our little world. Then Walmart installed new self-checkout screens, his company's software, his face in the corporate video that played on loop. Making technology accessible to everyone, his recorded voice promised. I laughed, harsh and involuntary. The twins looked up from their coloring. "Why you sad, Mama?" Sophia asked, always too perceptive. "Not sad, baby, just remembering something." Remembering what? How to explain that their father was building empires while I calculated whether we could afford name-brand cereal this week? That he was revolutionizing commerce while I taught them to tie shoes he'd never see them wear? Just grown-up stuff. That night, I allowed myself one weakness. After the twins slept, I searched his name. The results overwhelmed. Interviews, profiles, speculation about his love life. Eligible bachelor Nathan Cole spotted with senator's daughter. Inside Nathan Cole's $15 million penthouse. Then I found it, a video from a tech conference, someone asking about work-life balance. "I'm married to my company," he said, laughing. "No time for distractions." Distractions, still his favorite word. I closed the laptop, went to check on the twins. They slept peacefully, unaware their father had just called them distractions to a room full of strangers who applauded his dedication. Ethan had kicked off his blanket. Sophia clutched her stuffed elephant. I fixed Ethan's blanket, kissed both their foreheads. "You're not distractions," I whispered. "You're miracles." Outside, snow began to fall. Nathan's world grew bigger every day while ours stayed small and safe. I told myself that was enough. Some nights I even believed it. The Chicago Museum of Science and Industry buzzed with excited children. I'd saved for months to bring the twins here for their 5th birthday. A real adventure, their first trip outside Ohio. Ethan bounced between exhibits while Sophia studied each display with serious concentration. "Mama, look! Rockets!" Ethan tugged me toward the space exhibition. That's when I saw the banner. Innovation Speaker Series presents Nathan Cole, CEO of Coltech. My blood turned to ice water. Of course, of fucking course. "Can we stay for the talking man?" Sophia asked, pointing to the gathering crowd. Before I could steer them away, Nathan walked onto the stage. 5 years had polished him. Expensive suit, professional haircut, confidence that comes from having the world bent to your will. He started speaking about innovation, disruption, the future belonging to the bold. The same words he'd whispered to me once, except now they were for strangers who paid to hear them. I turned to leave, but Sophia had wandered closer to the stage, drawn like a moth to flame. "Sophie, come back!" I called, but she was mesmerized. Then it happened. Nathan's eyes swept the crowd and landed on her. His next word died mid-syllable. The microphone caught his sharp intake of breath. He stared at Sophia like he'd seen a ghost, which, in a way, he had, his own eyes looking back at him from a tiny face. "Sophie, now." I reached for her hand, but Nathan was already moving, stepping down from the stage, his presentation forgotten. The crowd murmured, confused. "Wait," he called out. His voice, God, his voice still did things to my heart I hated. I picked up Sophia, grabbed Ethan's hand, but Nathan was faster, younger, unencumbered by children and diaper bags. He caught up in the lobby. "Olivia?" I kept walking. "Olivia, please. Are they?" "Don't." I spun around, my voice low and dangerous. "Don't you dare." He stood there, this billionaire who commanded boardrooms, looking completely lost. His eyes kept moving between the twins, cataloging features, doing math. "Mama, who's that?" Ethan asked, suspicious as always of strangers. "No one," I said. "Just someone Mama used to know." Nathan flinched. "Good. They're mine." Not a question. His voice broke on the word mine. "No," I said simply. "They're mine. You made your choice." "I didn't know. Because you blocked my number, changed your email, had your lawyers send cease and desist letters when I tried to reach you through your company." That last part was a lie, but he didn't know that. Let him think I'd tried. Let him carry that weight. "How old are they?" "Old enough to not need you." Sophia watched him with those analytical eyes, so like his. "You look sad," she told Nathan. "My daughter, reading emotions like code." Nathan's face crumbled. The great tech visionary, undone by a 5-year-old's observation. He reached into his pocket, and I tensed, ready to run. But he just pulled out a business card. "Please, I know I have no right." "You're right, you don't." I left the card in his outstretched hand and walked away. Daniel arrived at my apartment 3 days later with Chinese takeout and that concerned look he'd perfected over the years. He'd been my study partner at NYU, the only friend who'd stayed after I vanished to Ohio. Monthly video calls had turned into occasional visits, then regular ones after he took a job in Columbus. "You look like hell," he said, unpacking containers. "Thanks. Really what every woman wants to hear." The twins attacked the dumplings while I picked at lo mein. I'd been jumping at every unknown number, expecting Nathan to somehow materialize despite giving him nothing to track. "Spill," Daniel commanded. "You've been weird since Chicago." So I told him. The words tumbled out. The speech, Nathan's face, how Sophia had looked at him with curious eyes. Daniel listened, chopsticks frozen halfway to his mouth. "I knew this would happen eventually," he said quietly. "Yeah, well, knowing and living it are different things." He set down his food, ran a hand through his hair, his own nervous tell. "Liv, I need to tell you something." The serious tone made me look up. Daniel, my rock, my constant. He looked terrified. The twins' college funds, the anonymous donations to their preschool, the scholarship that covers their after-school program. Each word hit like a physical blow. My chest tightened. "What are you saying?" "It was me. All of it. He stopped, started again. "I've been taking care of things, behind the scenes." The room tilted. I gripped the table edge. How much? Does it matter? How much? About 40,000 over 5 years. 40,000, more money than I'd ever seen. My vision blurred, rage or tears, maybe both. You let me think. My voice cracked. I thought we were making it, that I was enough. You are enough. You're everything. That's why Don't. I stood abruptly, needing distance. Don't you dare make this about feelings. But he was already standing too, reaching for me. I love you. I've loved you since Constitutional Law Study Group. Since before Nathan, during Nathan, after Nathan. The words hung between us like a blade. All those late-night talks, the way he always showed up, how good he was with the twins. It all shifted, recolored by this admission. I never asked for your money, or your love. I know, that's why I gave both freely. Behind my back, like I'm some charity case. Like you're someone worth protecting. I laughed, brittle and sharp. From what? Reality? Newsflash, Daniel. I've been living in reality for 5 years. Alone. You were never alone. I thought I had a friend. Turns out I had a secret benefactor nursing a crush. He flinched. Good. Let everyone flinch today. Mama? Sophia appeared in the doorway, elephant clutched tight. Why are you yelling? I forced my voice calm. Just talking, baby. Go watch cartoons with Ethan. She gave Daniel a long look, that Nathan-like assessment, then patted away. You should go, I told Daniel. He gathered his coat slowly, hopefully. But hope was a luxury I couldn't afford. Not anymore, not when everyone wanted to save me except myself. Nathan found my address somehow. Of course he did. Billionaires had resources. He stood at my door at 9 p.m. on a Tuesday, rain-soaked and holding an expensive bottle of wine like a peace offering. I don't drink anymore, I said through the chain lock. I know, I didn't know what else to bring. The man who could buy anything reduced to cliché gestures. I almost felt sorry for him. Almost. 5 minutes, I said, unhooking the chain. The twins are asleep. He entered my apartment like he was walking into a museum, careful, reverent. His eyes caught on everything, toys scattered on scarred hardwood, crayon masterpieces on the fridge, 2 small bikes propped in the corner. They're beautiful, he said softly. In Chicago, I couldn't. Sophia looks just like my sister did at that age. Your sister died when she was 12. He looked surprised, I remembered, as if I could forget anything about the man I'd planned to marry. Nathan, what do you want? He set the wine on my coffee table, the same one I'd bought at Goodwill, painted white to hide the water stains. I want to know them. To be what? Their father? That position's been vacant for 5 years. I know. God, I know. But I was young and scared and what? Your IPO was more important. Your board of directors wouldn't approve? My father. The words hung between us. I hadn't expected that. Your father's been dead for 2 years. I saw the obituary. Nathan sank onto my couch uninvited, head in his hands. He wasn't dead when you were pregnant. He was running for Senate. A grandchild out of wedlock would have destroyed his campaign. So you destroyed us instead. He threatened you. Nathan looked up, eyes red-rimmed. Said he'd make sure you never practiced law, that he'd bury you in legal fees if you tried to claim paternity. He had a whole file, investigators, lawyers, a PR team ready to paint you as a gold digger. My legs gave out. I sat hard on the second-hand armchair. And you just let him? I was 25 and a coward. He controlled the initial funding, said he'd pull everything if I didn't handle the situation. So you chose money. I chose fear, and I've regretted it every day since. Spare me the self-pity, Nathan. I was 22 and pregnant with twins. You think I wasn't scared? He shifted forward. I know. That's why after the IPO, I hired someone to check on you, to make sure you were okay. You spied on me? I needed to know you were safe. That they were safe. We weren't safe. We were surviving. There's a difference. I know. I'm sorry. I'm so fucking sorry. Sorry doesn't buy diapers. Sorry doesn't hold your hair back during morning sickness. Sorry doesn't explain to 2 5-year-olds why every other kid has a daddy at preschool graduation. Each word was a scalpel, and I wielded them with surgical precision. Nathan bled quietly, taking each cut. Let me fix this, please. Some things can't be fixed. They can only be survived. The call came at 2:17 a.m., 3 weeks after Nathan's visit. Ethan had been complaining of a stomachache at bedtime, but I'd written it off as too much birthday cake at his friend's party. "Mama, it hurts," he'd whimpered at midnight. By 2 a.m., he was burning with fever, clutching his right side. I knew before the ER doctor confirmed it. Appendicitis, but complicated. The appendix had ruptured. "We need to operate immediately," Dr. Martinez explained. "But there's something else. His blood work shows anomalies. Has anyone in your family had clotting disorders?" My mind went blank. Family medical history. The black hole in my children's records. I don't know. Their father. "We need that information, now. And we may need directed donor platelets if—" I was already dialing Nathan's number, saved under "Do Not Call" in my phone. He answered on the second ring, voice thick with sleep. "Olivia? Ethan's sick. The hospital needs medical history. They might need blood." "Which hospital?" 20 minutes later, he burst through the ER doors looking like he'd thrown on yesterday's clothes. For once, I was grateful for his money. It commanded attention, got forms signed, specialists called. "My father had von Willebrand disease," he told Dr. Martinez. "Type 2, my sister too." The medical team sprang into action. Nathan paced the waiting room like a caged animal while they took our son, into surgery. I sat frozen, Sophia asleep across my lap. "He called me the sad man after Chicago," Nathan said suddenly. "At the museum. Sophia told him I looked sad, and he remembered, called me the sad man from the museum." "Don't." I couldn't handle his pain on top of mine. "He's going to be okay." "You don't know that." "He has to be." The next 6 hours blurred. Nathan's assistant appeared with coffee, blankets, coloring books for when Sophia woke. His mother arrived at dawn, older, grayer, carrying the weight of knowledge. "I didn't know," she said simply, "about the threats, the investigators. I thought you'd left for money when Nathan cut you off." I had no energy for her guilt. He's 5 years old and he's never been in a hospital before. He was so scared. "He's strong," she said, "like his mother." When Dr. Martinez finally emerged, I couldn't read his expression. Nathan grabbed my hand, first time he'd touched me in 5 years. "The surgery went well. We caught the infection in time. He'll need monitoring for the bleeding disorder, but he's going to be fine." I collapsed into Nathan, sobbing. He held me while I shook, his own tears silent but steady. Sophia woke, confused by the crowd of strangers who looked like her. "Where's Ethan?" "He's sleeping, baby. The doctors fixed his tummy." "Is the sad man crying again?" Nathan laughed through his tears. "Yeah, sweetheart, but they're happy tears this time." She considered this. "Okay, can I have juice?" Life went on, even in crisis, especially in crisis. 3 months after Ethan's surgery, we'd developed a rhythm. Nathan came for Sunday dinners, awkward affairs where he tried too hard and I forgave too little. The twins called him Nathan, not Dad, not yet. But Ethan showed him his rock collection and Sophia let him read bedtime stories. Daniel had withdrawn gracefully, sending a single text. "I'm here when you're ready to talk." I wasn't ready, might never be, but I kept the text. "We should tell them," Nathan said one evening, watching the twins build blanket forts, "about who I am. When they're ready, when I'm ready." Fair enough. He'd been patient, a new quality for him. The boy who demanded everything now waited for whatever scraps I offered. His penance, maybe, or growth. My laptop dinged with a new email. Anonymous sender, like the dozens of spam I deleted daily. But the subject line stopped me. The truth about Senator Cole's last campaign. Nathan was helping Ethan with his fort's structural integrity. I opened the email, photos, documents, recordings. Senator Cole hiring investigators to follow me. Forged medical documents claiming I was mentally unstable. A planned media campaign to discredit me if I ever came forward. Emails between him and high-powered lawyers discussing how to neutralize the threat to Nathan's future. But the last document, that shattered something in me. A contract. Nathan's signature at the bottom. He hadn't just known about his father's threats. He'd authorized them, paid for them. The timestamp showed 3 days after I told him about the pregnancy. Mama, look! Our fort's bigger than Nathan! Ethan's joy pierced through my fog. I closed the laptop carefully. Nathan glanced over, caught something in my expression. Everything okay? Fine. The lie came easily. I'd had 5 years of practice pretending everything was fine. Later, after he'd left with promises to bring his old telescope next week, Sophia wanted to see Saturn's rings. I sat alone in the dark. The email's sender had included one line of text: "You deserve to know who you're letting near your children." Did I confront him? Blow up this fragile peace we'd built? The twins were happy, healing from the absence they'd never understood. Nathan seemed genuine in his attempts to make amends. But that contract, his signature approving the destruction of the woman he'd claimed to love. Sophia padded out in her astronaut pajamas. "Mama, can't sleep." I pulled her into my lap, breathed in her shampoo-sweet hair. "Bad dreams?" "No, good dreams. About rockets and Saturn and Nathan's telescope." "That sounds nice, baby." "Is Nathan our daddy?" The question I dreaded, delivered with 5-year-old directness. "What makes you ask that?" "He looks at us like Marcus's daddy looks at Marcus, all soft and careful, while his father plotted our burial. It's complicated, sweetheart." "Everything's complicated with grown-ups," she sighed, world-weary at 5. Outside, snow began falling, the first of the season, clean and white, covering all the ugly beneath. "Is this a new beginning?" I whispered to the window. "Or just the calm before another storm?" The email waited in my laptop. The truth that could shatter everything. Tomorrow, I'd decide. Tonight, I held my daughter and watched the snow fall.